Hey there friends, Chaplain Aaron Bell here, discussing the last part of David Goggins' book, Can't Hurt Me. I'd like to discuss with you Challenge 8, Schedule It In, Challenge 9, which is Don't Settle, and Challenge 10, which is After Action Reports. With that, let's get to it. So, Challenge 8 is called Schedule It In. This is a 3-week challenge, and how this works is in the first week you're basically writing down your whole schedule. Like, just go about your normal weekly routine as it looks like, but write everything down. So take note of, like, how long are your lunch breaks? How long is your commute? How long do you spend working out? How long do you spend resting? How long do you spend on your phone? There's actually a good app that Goggins recommends to check on that. It's called Moment Screen Time Control. If you use that app, that is a good way to figure out exactly how long you're spending on your phone from one week to the next. You shouldn't necessarily be changing anything in this first week. It's really just about finding all that fat that you're gonna trim in week 2. In week 2, this is where you are writing out your schedule. And you wanna write out your optimum schedule according to Goggins in 15 to 30 minute segments. So with this, you're basically wanting to focus on one thing at a time. You want to schedule in that time that includes those self-improvement activities. So if you need to study more, you need to sleep more, you need to work out more, more rest, you want to include all of those things. If you say you're doing something, you need to make sure you do that. So don't try and multitask, do a bunch of different things at once. If you're sleeping, make sure that you're actually going to sleep. Don't just spend a bunch of extra time on your phone. That is basically what week 2 is all about. In week 3, you basically have your schedule made, and this is where you make those little adjustments. What didn't work so well in week 2? This is where you fix it in week 3. And then you basically go about doing your new schedule. I would add here that you want to make sure that you have your schedule balanced according to your life values, okay? Because you may have certain personal goals, but you have to make sure you have all your priorities in line. Do they fit with the people around you? Do they fit with your relationships? And what is more important to you, your relationships or these certain goals? Is your relationship your goal? You know, these are some of the other thoughts that I'm not sure totally get mentioned in this schedule challenge. But this is Challenge 8, Schedule It In. Next, we'll look at Challenge 9, which is Don't Settle. In Challenge 9, Goggins talks about don't settle. And basically this means no matter what you achieve in life, don't ever stop trying your hardest. So for Goggins, even after he became a successful Navy SEAL, he didn't stop there. He went on to become enlisted honor man with Army Ranger School and run the Badwater Ultra Marathon. So what this looks like for you might be, if you make it into a prestigious school, study harder than everyone else there. If you make it into this coveted job, then work harder than everyone else there. If you're in a new unit that you're really proud of, work harder than everyone else in your unit. He says that in order to be uncommon in a group of uncommon peers, you have to constantly be looking at how you can improve. One thing that Goggins points out is you may actually alienate your peers around you, because you may find yourself surrounded by people who want to settle at a certain level. And according to this challenge, you never want to settle. One note of caution I would add with this challenge is to make sure, again, that you have your priorities straight as you're striving for these ever higher levels, because you may end up sacrificing some things that are very important to you. For example, I know a lot of people in the military who spend all of their time on their jobs, and then they're in for like 20 years, and after they get out, what else do they have? Like, especially those who had families but neglected them. I mean, the military is not going to be with you for the rest of your life. But even in, the outside world, the civilian world, your job is not going to be with you for the rest of your life. It's your family and those relationships that matter in the long run. So I would just add that one note of caution. But this is Don't Settle, Challenge 9. Next is Challenge 10. Challenge 10 is what Goggins calls the after-action report. This is something that is done a lot in the military, but it's done in a lot of other businesses too. With the after-action report, you basically look at a recent failure that you had that was excruciating, that was just catastrophic for you. And you take a look at that and you think about it and you write it down. And don't type it. Goggins recommends that you journal that, like handwrite that, so you really, really remember it and experience it. He says that you want to do this in basically a number of phases. So in the first part, you write down what went well. Even with the worst failures that you ever have, you normally did at least some things well in that. So write down what did you do right, and be generous and be specific with yourself. In the next part, you want to look at what did you do in the preparation phase. And this is what Goggins says is where a lot of people kind of mess up, is in that initial phase, what was their mindset like? In the next phase, you become brutally honest with yourself and you write down what could you have done differently. You look back at all those different things that went well, all those different things maybe you didn't do in that preparation phase. Don't sugarcoat anything. He even says to go ahead and use that accountability mirror and just figure out what you can do differently and then do it. He also adds, if you fail again, that's all right. You know what? Life is a lot of failures. I would add that a true failure is someone who doesn't succeed but then doesn't learn from the experience. This is the after action report, essentially challenge 10. This concludes David Goggins' book, Can't Hurt Me, the challenges 8 through 10. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative for you. If you want to learn more, I encourage you to go ahead and pick up a copy of that book, Can't Hurt Me. It's very interesting and very insightful. Chaplain Bell signing out. Bye now.